We're going live here. All right. I am in Philadelphia. We arrived this afternoon. We had an amazing experience at Monticello this morning in Charlottesville. And we're on our 18-day ministry adventure tour. This is day two of our 18-day ministry tour. And so we're having a great time. Along the way, we are exploring some very important historical sites. Historical in the sense of what our country was founded upon, looking for, the move of God in the past, looking for places where, God did special things. And so today, we spent the first half of our day at a place called Monticello, and it's in Charlottesville, Virginia. I grew up in Richmond. Shout out to all of my family and friends in Chester, Virginia. Enon, we love you. Love you very much. Miss my people there. Talked to my mom today. Um, so, really good things. We learned a lot about this amazing man, Thomas Jefferson. So Jefferson, uh, very accomplished man. Uh, at, at his heart, he was a scientist. He was brilliant. He self-taught himself to be an architect. He built buildings and things of that nature with his architecture that defy the odds. When you go there and you see his dome, he copied these things from buildings that he saw when he was in France. And so he was very, very dedicated to this country. And really, when it comes to the Declaration of Independence, which tomorrow here in Philadelphia, we go over to Independence Hall and we're going to see where the Declaration was signed. But Jefferson he was a very strong believer, but he was also a man that had some challenges. And so when you look at who he was and what he represented and what God gifted him to do, it's really powerful. It's really powerful when you look at Thomas Jefferson's life. The guy was, he had command of six languages. He read and self-taught him all of these things. He founded UVA, the University of Virginia, probably one of the most elite colleges in the state of Virginia. He was capable of designing and creating so many things, but he also enslaved people. And the reports are that one of his slaves was also a mistress of his, and he had children with her. And so that's the report. There are some that oppose that report, but the reality was is he enslaved people. And so there was some good and some amazing things that he did with his life, and yet there was a dark side. There were some challenges in his life. For instance, he had 5,000 acres that he inherited from his father, who was he was a map designer, and so he was given this land by the king, and so he turns it over to Jefferson, and Jefferson inherits this big, beautiful property. Well, he takes it and he designs it, and that's where this beautiful, beautiful home, Monticello, one of a kind, is designed up on the top of this, really this mountain. And so he has all of these sections where it's all, different farming projects and creative things going on the farm. And yet there were over 180 slaves there. And the story is that Jefferson did not free his slaves even after he could have, and even up to the point of his death. There were very few that were emancipated. And so when you look at his life, here's a guy at 33 years old. 33 years old. Think about this for a second. He writes the Declaration of Independence. That document is primarily him. And when you look at the intelligence within that, you look at the supernatural component of that document is what freed us from the oppression of, England. And so the tyranny that we were under, he helped us get free. And yet there were others in his life that he did not emancipate. He says on many occasions he was against slavery, but it seems like when he had a chance to do something about it, he didn't stand in the place where he should have. So I have a scripture for you tonight that I think is very appropriate. And so in some ways, I'm comparing Jefferson to Solomon. Two very brilliant, wise people, obviously very gifted. And this is something that we have to recognize is as each generation inherits. My wife and I were talking about this. As each generation inherits what we get from our parents and our grandparents and the people in our lives, what do we do with it? What do we do with 5,000 acres, right? And where does that go? Jefferson, at the end of his life, was in debt. His family literally, to pay off his debt, over $100,000 in debt. They had to sell Monticello. They had to sell the whole thing to pay off these debts that were there because there was too much spending and too much spent on the design and the place, and there was not enough to pay for everything. So if you will, at the end of his life, he loses nearly everything he created. That would be a sad legacy, right? But when you think about what he created in helping the nation, it's a very powerful legacy. So, like Solomon, same thing. When we look back at Solomon's life in the Bible, King Solomon, we see he did amazing things. He used this supernatural gift of wisdom to do amazing things. And yet, he got entangled with women from foreign nations trying to make alliances throughout the world and had all these concubines. And so this is what he writes. This is what Solomon writes in what's called the Book of I'm talking too fast. Ecclesiastes. Here we go. This is chapter 1. He says, the words of the preacher, the son of David, king in Jerusalem. This is what he says. Vanity of vanities, says the preacher. Vanity of vanities. All is vanity. You think the word vanity means something here. When you look at this phrase is him saying that, it's like utter emptiness. There's nothing left. You've tasted the best. You've experienced the best. You've had the riches. You've been the wealthiest. You've been at the top of the top. You've experienced everything that this world has to offer. And your conclusion is it's all vanity. You've tasted the best food in the world. You've been with the finest women in the world. You've had a taste of everything you might be able to obtain in your humanness. And it's all vanity. And this is what he says. What profit has a man from all his labor in which he toils under the sun? One generation passes away and another generation comes, but the earth abides forever, right? So are we learning anything? Are we gaining any ground? You watch what happens in our generation. What are we passing on to the next generation? Better yet, ask yourself that. What am I giving to my kids and my grandkids? What am I giving to the next generation? Here we go. The sun also rises and the sun goes down and hastens to place where it arose. The wind goes toward the south and turns round the north, and the wind whirls about continually and comes again on its circuit. So you're going to see weather come and go. You're going to see seasons come and go. And, you know, many people believe that we're in the last days of the last days, and this earth is still spinning, and the wind and the seasons. You know, we've seen some of the craziest weather patterns all around the world, almost daily, over 100 earthquakes, volcanoes, all kinds of things happening. All the rivers run into the sea, yet the sea is not full. To the place which the rivers come, they return again. All things are full of labor, full of labor. All things are full of labor. Man cannot express it. The eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor the ear filled with hearing. That which has been is what will be. That which is done is what will be done. And there is nothing new under the sun. Is there anything of which it might be said, see, this is new? It has already been in ancient times before us. There is no remembrance of former things, nor will there be any remembrance of things that are to come by those who will come after. And so he's in this very philosophical, reflective place toward the end of his life, and he's trying to summarize these things. And it's like the gift of wisdom that he was given at such an early age, although it was spent on all of these vanities, he's now reflecting back. And so when we look at a man like Jefferson, Thomas Jefferson, one of our founding fathers, one of our great presidents, one of our great political leaders, such a dignified man. And yet, would he have said, vanity of vanities, after spending his life and toiling and having all these experiences, right? And so when you look at him and you look at what he was all about, he had these conclusions. He had this reflection about his life. And so one of the things that he did is he left a saying on his grave. And this saying was very, very significant. And I want to read that to you. And so he insisted that this be his grave marker. Let me find it here. And so when you look at what he put on his grave, it tells the real story. So let's look at this here for just a second. Get this off my phone. Here's what he had put on his grave. He says, author of the Declaration of American Independence, of the Statute of Virginia for religious freedom, and the father of the University of Virginia. That's all he wanted on his tombstone. And all of the other things that he accomplished, he didn't even want those on there. He didn't want, this, masterpiece, Monticello, and all those things on there because he lost it. So I think the prayer for me today is deep reflection about what am I really leaving to the next generation? What are my kids going to say about me? What are my grandchildren going to be told about me, what I stood for, where I spent my time, what I did with my talents and the wisdom and the things that God gave me? I think it's a very powerful thing for us to be asking in this time. Let's pray about it. Lord, help us. Help us in this season to make the most of the time that we have. This this season, Lord. Help us to pass the baton to the next generation, to get them ready. Help us to give them what they need the most. Help us to give them the godly heritage that you want us to give them. And Lord, let us put our energies into the things that are eternal and not the things that are temporal. Let us not summarize our lives as vanity, 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 but may our lives be summarized as meaningful and purposeful and something special for the next generation. May we inspire them to chase after those things that are of most importance in this life. Knowing you, advancing your kingdom, and being the kind of people that you have called us to be. Let it be, Lord. Let it be. Thank you. Thank you for following us on this 18-day ministry journey. Tomorrow, we open the door and hit the street, and we're out here going to Philadelphia, Independence Hall, some special churches. We might even run up the steps where Rocky filmed his film. It's going to be another great day tomorrow. Let's go do this thing. Thank you for tuning in.